Go with the bag. In the driving rain at Pocono Downs, Baron Wally wins the 6th race, paying $26.20 on a deuce. Track announcer Sol Needle with the official call.
And through the stretch, Baron Wally, BB Clever on the outside. Baron Wally, BB Clever, drive to the wire.
Baron wins it, or Baron Wally, whatever you want to say. A photo finish, 5th race exacta, 5-1, 220-280. Daily double, 5-3, 188-20. And in the 3rd race triple, a whopping 1,077-524. Last week's driver of the week at Pocono, 16-year-old Susan Looney. That's right, a 16-year-old female destined to become the best in her sport, harness racing. This is not your typical sports story, but then again, Susan Looney is anything but your average athlete. For openers, this spunky blonde makes her living in a sport that, despite some changes, is still dominated by men, harness racing. You compound that with her age, just 16, and you have the makings of a genuine sports phenom. Did you think that you were going to be doing this well so fast? I mean, this is pretty amazing.
Yes, I'm pretty amazed myself.
What's so amazing is that Susan drove home a winner in her very first start as a pro, thus becoming the youngest winner in the 20-year history of this racetrack.
I grew up with horses. Whole family's in it. Grandfather's a trainer. Stepfather's one of the leading drivers to Meadowlands. My mother's a driver. Whole family operation. Just
how good of a driver is Susan? Well, in her first 19 starts, 5 overall winners, 12 times in the money. With those kind of numbers, it's no wonder that her competition has such high praise. When you're out there, do you feel that you're going up against a qualified competitor?
Yeah, I think that I respect her as much as I do any other guys I've been driving against for years. Takes her time, does the right thing, and makes all the right moves. I've never seen her make a mistake yet.
Some may think it might be difficult being so young and not able to enjoy some of the other things in life. Well, think again.
I don't think so. I think they're missing some of the things. I love what I'm doing. It was my choice.
This is all she has ever wanted to do. She didn't like high school. She didn't fit in school. This was all she ever wanted to do.
And do it very well. Quite a gal.
Probably know me as Mr. G, the Channel 2 man here in New York. Well, tonight's not going to be a story about weather. We'll be presenting 3 stories about special kids in the tri-state area. Now, what makes these kids special is that each one of them has a unique challenge, the quality to meet that challenge, and a loving, supporting family. And these kids are making it. Here is Susan Vitale, who at the age of 12 has already spent half of her life carrying on a family tradition. She comes from a family of harness drivers, and tonight you'll see her compete in her first race. You'll also see a team of basketball players from the Lavelle School in the Bronx finish up their first season on the court. And for them, it's been a very special season. Special because all the students at Lavelle are either legally or totally blind. And finally, we'll be there when 5 Vietnamese children and their parents arrive in America from a refugee camp. They're here to begin a new life, thanks to the help of a very special Long Island family. We think you'll discover tonight that there's more to family than just relatives. It's the people and friends that are behind you and pushing for you all the time. And we hope you'll leave us tonight feeling just a little bit special yourself.
Special Kids will return after these messages.
Aren't these horses beautiful? Well, they're part of a large stable of horses up here at Size Riding Academy in the Bronx. And tonight, you're about to meet a 12-year-old girl named Susan Vitale, who has already spent a good deal of her life around horses. As a matter of fact, Susan is part of a 3rd generation of a family that has been involved with racing. Now, even though Susan's parents are divorced, the grandmother, mother, and sister stand behind her all the way. The grandmother, she was involved with training horses long before any women were involved with sport. And the mother right now is one of the few female harness drivers in the country. And Susan wants to become a harness driver as well. And daily, you can see her working out at the Freehold Raceway in New Jersey.
I like to work and I like to be around horses. I know that I want to race. I'm not sure if everything will go right. Something might go wrong and I might not be able to race. Then I might be in college. But right now I'm really planning on trying to start racing and driving. That's the main thing I want to do right now.
For Susan, horses and racing have always been the main thing. And to hear her mother Joanne tell it, it was love at first sight.
When Susan was about a year old, her grandfather wrapped her up in a horse blanket one day, and it was about 30 degrees out, and wrapped her up and went out and jogged the horse, and she just sat there. All Susan did when she was a kid was cry. She cried, she cried, and she cried. And he wrapped her up in his horse blanket one day in the cold weather and took her out and jogged her, and she just sat there. She never cried, she never did anything. So we figured right then that we found something that Susan liked to do.
For a 12-year-old, Susan has a startling dedication to her dream. Outside of her schoolwork, she can usually be found tending her family's horses or practicing her driving skills at the track.
I want to get a tutor and drive, or like go to the races during the day and get experience and train in morning stuff. I know it is hard work, but I wouldn't call what I've done really hard labor. It's work, but it's not. I enjoy work. I enjoy it.
She's really a cute little kid. She can be a real brat sometimes, though. She's going into her teenage years now, and sometimes she's difficult to put up with. But she works, and I think it's important to know how to work, because you don't get any place unless you're a go-getter. And she is. She's a go-getter.
And that's really no surprise. Susan and her younger sister, Heather, have been raised by a family of go-getters. Her grandfather has driven and trained horses for over 30 years, and both grandmother and mother worked their way into the racing business when few women were welcome as drivers or trainers.
I say myself for a special family. It's a lot easier because everybody knows what you're talking about when you're talking about horses and things. They know what you've done all day, how you've trained, and how you raced. And it's a lot easier since everybody's doing the same thing.
And today, everyone is thinking about the same thing. An exciting day and a special day. At age 12, Susan Vitale is scheduled to drive in her first race, testing her skills with one of her mother's horses named Georgia Crane. For Susan, this moment has been almost 6 years in the making, and now the whole family and friends are off to the races. The site, the Salem County Fairgrounds at Cowtown, New Jersey. The Cowtown races are called matinees, and though there is no purse or betting, these afternoon races are official and sanctioned by the United States Track Association.
Susan likes to win. Only at this point in her life, winning isn't the important thing. At this point in her life, the important thing is for her to get the experience. Like later on, when she starts racing for money, when she's 16 years old and she can start racing for money, that's when it'll be important to win.
Now, not too many 12-year-olds get the chance to make their dreams come true. But for Susan, the dream becomes a reality today. It takes a special kind of determination to put yourself in the driver's seat, and the faith and support of her family helps Susan get there. In a sense, today is a dream come true for all of them.
Good luck. I wish I would have had the opportunities at 12 years old that she's having right now. But when I was 18, which has been about 16 years ago, women had no future in harness racing. So I got away from the horses for a while, and then I came back when women were allowed to get a driver's license.
The only time I was asked to drive in a powder puff race, I said, I'll be the judge, but Joanne can take my place. And that's when she started driving.
There's a lot more downs than there are ups. You really get to the point where you don't think you can do anything right. But with Susan, that maybe we can all help her enough so that when she gets the downs, we can help pick her back up again. You'll feel like you've been sitting back there for years.
Once you get on it, it just takes you. You do.
Where's the track?
Well, you know what to do once you get out there. You're nervous like until you get right on the bike, but then it just all comes right to you. You know how to do everything.
Georgia Crane goes up to challenge
driver has to more or less be a natural. You either have it or you don't have it. You have to have good hands. You have to be able to feel a horse. You just have to be able to know what he's got and what he can give and get the most out of him.
To the outside, Georgia Crane goes up to challenge.
I've learned a lot of it, but I also have a feeling when I think I should do something, I just try to do it as best as I can. You're not thinking of what the other people are thinking, like what they think you should do or what they're going to say to you after the race. You're just thinking, like, try to win it.
Now Georgia Crane is going right around and taking command. Threat back to third, and Grandview Barron fourth, Stockingtown Liz fifth. They go through the last turn. Georgia Crane up top, sticks left to the good. That's DJ Missy back to second, and Threat third, Grandview Barron fourth. Turn for home. Georgia Crane up top, DJ Missy along the rail, Threat on the outside. It's Georgia Crane and Threat. Georgia Crane in front. Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Vitale with Georgia Crane, driven victory in the winning time of 2:10 flat. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Susan Vitale's first drive of her life and her first win here at Cowtown. Let's give her a big hand.
Good drive, Susan. Ooh, well, I just tried to stay up front. When I heard those guys coming up, I just showed him the whip a little bit, and he went on. It's nice to win, especially since it was my first start and I won. I'd just rather be a horse driver than anything else. Not really thinking of the downs and ups yet, just the ups. Oh, I loved it.
Now, for Susan Vitale, it was a combination of hard work, skill, and a little bit of luck that brought her around as a winner the first time around the track. But there are all kinds of winners in this world, like the kids up here at the Lavelle School for